Hey everybody, as those of you who have been following my channel for a while know, you can't just have a 2J game and then leave it. Often one will quickly be followed by another. This is the case here. I can't just play one game in this tank and then not play it again. It's too much fun. So we've ended up on Corellia again. This time Distracted has dropped out of the platoon and been replaced by TJ, who's taken his place. And once again we're going to go south, although this time from the opposite spawn. The 2J is not by any means fast, an unfortunate side effect of having 80mm front armor and 50mm side and rear armor, especially considering how small the tank is and how small of an engine it has. With that said, it doesn't really matter, because by the time we get to the south end, the enemy will still be in the process of positioning, even though they will get there first. In these low tier games they tend to play a bit more reserved, strangely enough. You don't actually get people making the mad dash for the hill so often. 1Cs will typically do it, but slower tanks won't. And they won't push so aggressively, at least not right away. They tend to wait a little while. It's interesting just seeing the difference in dynamics between high and low tier matches on the same map. It's even more perplexing when you consider most low tier tanks have autocannons, or cannons which rapidly drop pen over range. Autocannons of course have a hard-coded range limit. So, T-18's down. Death's television will not be tormenting us today. Something ahead is bouncing off me. It's the D2. I'm going to have extreme trouble penning him anywhere, so I just ignore him for now. I know he's not really a threat. The 1C's not really a threat either, but he's a convenient target since he's right next to me, and no doubt has not yet figured out that he can't pen me. Or at least not from where he is. He would have to be pushed right up against me, hitting me in the turret range to pen me with the 1C. I should note though, I have noted this before, I have penned an IS-4 with a 1C before. It is possible to pen just about anything with any tank in the game if you get the lucky RNG rolls and hit the right spot. It's very rare though, so as you can see he hasn't penned a single shot, he's not going to either. The D2 is apparently incapable of harming me, so I just ignore him and roll straight into this group. Cruiser 4 is actually somewhat dangerous, and he does get a shot through me there. I was giving too much side. He hit me just below the little hatch there. The hatch is a weak spot, it's only 40mm of armor I think, or 45, it's not 50 like the rest. That's still fairly considerable armor at this tier, especially considering most enemies will be engaging you from the front or the rear as they try and chase you. Take out the other cruiser with my last shot and clip, and then finish off the guy that hit me. Those are the only 2 damaging shots he got in from all those clips. Where'd the second one hit? I cannot actually see. Oh, no I can, it hit my vision port. So he does actually, or he was hitting the weak spots, I don't know if he was consciously aiming for them or not. Did actually get 2 penning shots there on the D2, not sure how, but I'm not going to complain. And so while Inigoat uses me as a shield, I slowly push ahead towards the enemy cap. I get a little bit of a speed boost here. Not much, but every little bit counts. TK is not in a position where I can easily hit it. There's no way in hell I want to climb that hill in front of me, so I split off to the right. There are still some tanks around middle I can clean up. The UE-57's backing off. For a moment there I do have shots, but it looks like he wants to actually come down. Plus there's still the Marder and the Vickers, which I can go engage. The medium 3 is a nice squishy target. He does actually have one of the few low tier guns which can reliably pen this tank anywhere, but he's actually in hard cover. He's completely hidden by the hillside to me, so I just push through the middle anyway. And that Vickers is having a very bad day. Thankfully he focuses me and ignores Inigo. I managed to finish him before he can kill Inigo. Armada begins firing at him, but he also gets finished off. Nice easy 4-kill game, again about 750 damage. I have got higher damage with this thing, but typically about 750 is what I aim for. I'm too slow to really get into position to get more. If you've been watching my BTSV games, my good BTSV matches tend to be around 1 to 1.1k. Not so much in this. The BTSV has the speed to get basically anywhere it wants. It has a gun that pens pretty much anything it's likely to face, including Matildas if you know where to shoot them. It's a lot more flexible. The 2J, because of its slow speed and its weak gun, just can't put out the damage as consistently, especially if you end up in a tier 4 match or in a map where you have to really try and play catch up with everyone else, like Corellia or like any open map. Melanovka is kind of an exception because you can cut down the outside road now. They've reworked the map, made that a safer route, but with the 2J you just can't afford to flex out as much as the BTSV. The BTSV is kind of similar to the higher tier Soviet mediums in that you can take every mistake the enemy gives you and capitalize on it. The 2J cannot. What the 2J can do is drive down an entire flank, just murder boating everything and making puppies cry because they've probably never actually seen one before and don't know what it is. If you do get the chance to pick one of these up, I'll give you some advice now actually. Zone 51, it's written in the URL like a 3ONA51 because it's, you know, the 3 is a Cyrillic Z. Zone 51 is, I believe, a Ukrainian site. That's where I got mine from. They're on the level. They're pretty easy to deal with. They get shit sent off pretty fast. If they do happen to have more of these codes on offer, just make sure that they're applicable to the NA server. Ask them first. But they're good guys to deal with. There was another site that was selling them, I can't remember the name of. A lot of goons tried that one, didn't get any response back from them, so obviously that's a no-go. And there are always people on eBay looking to flog promo codes for rare tanks. These two, the MTLS, the Type 59 constantly comes up on eBay. In fact, I was linked out of the World of Tanks thread on SA just a couple hours ago. Somebody is selling a Type 59 promo code for the NA server. It is already up to about $1,000 US on eBay. Now, I have a Type 59. I've had it since they added it to the game, basically. It's not all it's cracked up to be. It's not as strong as it once was. When it's new to you, you might enjoy it, but after you've played about 1.5k games in it, I played 1700 odd, it's just not enjoyable anymore. I barely ever touch my Type 59. If I'm going to play with somebody in a Pref 8, I'll either bring a 7 or I will bring my KV5. Eventually I plan on getting an FCM so I can bring that instead. The Type 59 is not a bad tank, it's just not a good tank. I know a lot of goons are going to argue with this, but honestly, the T44 has better mobility, about the same camo I believe. The gun is slightly better, worse pen, but and still low DPM, but just better gun handling. The turret isn't quite as bouncy, but the Type 59's turret is grossly overrated, especially in these days of power creep. A lot of shit will pen it straight through. So, really, for most purposes, I would rather be in a T44. The Type 59 is still a good tank. It can still carry hard, and a platoon of them is still really fucking dangerous. But I'm gonna honestly say it is not worth $1,000 US. Do not buy a fucking Type 59 off eBay, for Christ's sake. If you absolutely have to play it, just ask a friend who has one if you can borrow their account, or go to fucking E3 or something and play one of the E3 accounts since they have all tanks unlocked. With these little guys, if you go to buy them on eBay, if the price is over about 120, 130 US, I wouldn't touch them. I think they're starting to climb up into the 200s now. I would honestly leave that alone. It's not worth it. They are getting rarer. I think most of the international codes are gone. This was one of them, so is my BTSV. A lot of places only have codes left for the EU or RU servers. Some are only for C. You want to check where the code is for before you buy it. There is no point buying a code for the C server and only finding out when you go to activate it on NA and it doesn't work. You may have been paying attention to chat in that game, there was a guy from the C server actually who'd just come to NA and had to obviously reroll. He made a wise decision. Don't play on the C server. It's full of bots and it's full of Australians. Please don't. Play NA if you live in the sort of Southeast Asia, Australia region. You get a lot better quality of players, better matchmaking, because there's, more active players. And it's better. Also, you don't run into the problem of everyone speaking different languages, half of which don't even have character packs that English speakers would have. It's communication on the C server, from what I've heard, is impossible, because you've got to remember it incorporates a wide variety of countries and a wide variety of languages. So NA, you do have people speaking, Spanish, or people speaking Portuguese, the South American players in particular. You've got Russians, you got all sorts on NA. We actually do have EU players who play on NA. A lot of Poles play on NA, like actual Polish Poles, not people who have lived in the US for like 5 generations and still call themselves Poles. So if you want to hang out with people from all over the world, the NA server is probably the best place to do it, actually. EU's alright for that as well, but the C server is just, I've heard it's horrible. I'd be inclined to believe it's horrible. All my friends who play on there would honestly sell their souls to transfer back to NA. So yeah, don't do it. And double check all your promo codes before you activate them, or before you buy them, sorry. As far as getting these goes, I've done it before. I cannot recommend them enough. As I said, sorry, I'm not done. I've said it before. They are so much fun. I mean, it is quite a lot of money for a pixel tank. Obviously, if you are scrounging for food, don't do it. I'm kind of at the level where I can maybe afford to ration out a few dollars here and there for internet tanks, and I do. But if it's not money you can afford, don't spend it. Just hold out. They probably come back up on sale at some point. If not, then just ask a friend to borrow their account or something. I'm sure if you find somebody who's not paranoid like me, they might lend you it. If you do have the disposable income though, and you do make sure you're not getting ripped off, go for it. They are so much fun. They pay for themselves. The only thing I should note is that the 2J, you'll be running up a lot of in-game ammo costs. You pretty much want to be running pure gold in this. The reason is you'll eventually run out of gold, and when you run out of gold, your AP cannot pen shit, and you will die a horrible death as the entire enemy team boxes you in and slowly murders you with HE. That's the only real issue related to them. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Kit them out as you would any other tank. Don't use shit crews in them. Get like at least a 75% crew, and then of course these are premiums, so you can use them as crew trainers, which is of limited use for the Germans. I guess with the RU-251, but both of them only have 3 crew members, so you're not going to be able to train a whole light tank crew. But I don't really use them for crew training. I just use them for beating up on low tier pubbies and having a good time. Hopefully at some point you'll get a chance to play them too. As I said, if you do want to play rare, unique, exclusive tanks that normally you won't see on the server, head to E3 if you can. The E3 promo accounts, I believe, have every tank in the game unlocked, including these and the MTLS. Usually, I mean, I could be wrong there, but I think the E3 promo accounts do. I know that press accounts do, so if you get the chance at a press account, take it. Other than that, the Clan Wars Sheriff accounts and Tournament Sheriff accounts, all the special accounts basically, also have these unlocked, which is why quite often you'll see them rolling around in this, basically laughing their way to the bank. Or, as the case may be, laughing their way to your bank to stop you from getting inside of it. You also get stuff like the Gross Tractor and a couple other things which aren't actually implemented in the game yet. I don't know if you'd have access to the T95E6 or the T95E2 or the T55, which I am dying to get my hands on, or any of those. I couldn't tell you. I honestly don't know anybody really who's got a hold of one since those tanks were added, except the most recent time I spoke to somebody with a special sheriff account was Prime Law, and he was playing the MTLS and the Gross tractor, which there is footage of on this channel. If you haven't seen it, you can dig around a little while and you'll eventually find it. Anyway, I've rambled on for far longer than I planned. Thanks for watching, best of luck in the field, and I will catch you next time. See you later.